Hey guys, nice to stay tuned. Welcome back to another tryout. Today's tryout is on Pokemon Legends Arceus. Arceus? I think I generally say Arceus. So, this is a game that we picked up. My girlfriend wanted to play it, and I figured I might as well get a physical copy so we could both play it more easily since we have our own Switches. And she has since already basically 100%'d it. So since she's done with it, I figured I might as well start playing it then. And that's where we are. I've thus far skipped about all of the Pokemon games that were on the Switch. Not played Sword and Shield, I've not played Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I've not even played things like Pokémon Tournament or even Pokemon Snap yet, though I have Pokemon Snap. So this is sort of the first Pokemon game for Switch I've played, and honestly the first Pokemon game I've played in a long time. I really haven't played a Pokemon game since like Gen 4, so this has a bit of a familiarity to me because of my previous familiarity with Gen 4. I had 4 of the 5 games from that generation for whatever reason, so I've played a lot of Sinnoh and also the Johto Kanto stuff from HeartGold and SoulSilver. So coming into this sort of alternate version of Sinnoh is sort of like stepping back home in a sense, though this being different. So the situation here is actually kind of similar to the Mystery Dungeon games, where how they start, where the Mystery Dungeon games you like answer some vague questions and you get assigned a Pokemon to be the Pokemon that you've sort of turned into when being isekai'd to this new dimension where Pokemon are the top of the food chain sort of thing. That's how it works in Mystery Dungeon games. And similar to here, you're being isekai'd to another dimension and you answer a couple vague questions, mostly, what do you look like and what's your name? But this time, rather than some mysterious entity doing this to you, Arceus isekais you to this new dimension, steals your phone, jailbreaks it, gives it back to you, and it's like, here, it's got Google Maps for the area. Figure it out. Catch all the Pokemon, please. And that's the start of the adventure, and you get going into it. This is really just kind of a breath of fresh air for the Pokemon franchise. It's new enough in terms of its mechanics that it doesn't fall into the stagnation of the sort of turn-based RPG stuff that the series has historically done. And, like, this is just sort of what Sword and Shield could have done, but as far as I can tell, it just didn't really do. It didn't really capitalize on the fact that it was on new hardware that could just do things that the previous hardware just wasn't capable of. Now, to get into some of the details of the game, visually, it can be a little hit or miss. I think that the character models and the Pokemon models, especially the face animations on the people,
the facial animations are all like really, like especially like the expressions are really good. The way that people like look at you is like really well rendered in this art style. I like how that functions, how the eyes move.
I could sit there and stand and just walk back and forth in front of somebody and watch their eyes follow me forever. Like, that's just kind of cool. It's just like they just look the way that you feel like they should look in this art style. And that's very accomplished. But on the flip side of that, when you get out into the world and you're outside of the town where, you know, everything's a bit closer together and looks fine, you get out into the like actual like more open spots, and that stuff off in the distance doesn't look very good. And I mean, even just like the landscapes in general aren't as good as you might want them to be. But again, this is a Switch game. This is a Switch game made by Game Freak, who has had a hit or miss reputation in the recent years. So like, it's not as bad as it could be, but it's certainly like could be better, I think, even on Switch hardware. But I think the most successful part about Pokemon Legends Arceus is it seems to like streamline the Pokemon formula into a relatively successful action RPG sort of thing. It's not a pure action RPG because there are still the turn-based battles, but a lot of the stuff like entering battle and, you know, just catching Pokemon can be done in the overworld in a way that is a lot more engaging than how it is done more traditionally. Even though in some of the more recent games you do have Pokemon on the world map and stuff like this, I think the way that you can catch the Pokemon from the world map, and that even that battles aren't like going into their own like little mini arena, it's all sort of in the area. I think that's just really the most successful part about this is the way that it's done that. It's turned Pokemon into more of an action RPG, and I think it's done it very successfully. Tagalong on the back of the box even just says action and RPG in a new kind of Pokemon adventure. Their whole goal seems to have been turning Pokemon into an action RPG, and I think they've accomplished that very well. And overall, so far, I've had a lot of fun with it. Just mostly like sneaking around the wilderness area and tossing Pokeballs at things. You know, I find that fun. So, like, it's just done a real good job of making this system fun again. And I've considered going back to some of my older Pokemon games, but just haven't, because it's like, I don't even know if I find that fun anymore or doing it again, you know? I don't know if I can play Pokemon Diamond again, just back on the DS, because I don't know if I'll find that fun. And that's one of the two reasons that I didn't end up getting Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. The other being some of its stuff that it's lacking. But like, this is like, yeah, I can do this. This has a lot more for me now that I'm older than I think going back to some of the older Pokemon games might have. And this honestly has me excited to see what Pokemon Scarlet and Violet have for us in the future. Anyway, I do also have some more negative points on here. The first one is just some performance things. I've noticed when looking around in the main village, there's an area that as you pass by, it just stutters a little bit, and the anti-aliasing is like non-existent. And I'm sure some of this is specifically because I played in TV mode. I imagine that on the smaller screen of the portable Switch stuff, even some of the landscapes probably don't look as bad. It probably just generally looks better on the smaller screen, and in the lower resolution it probably runs better. But if you're someone who plays in TV mode, you might run into some of those less good looking things and some more performance issues. Additionally, it takes about an hour to actually get to the point where the game opens up. That's why I ended up actually playing for like an hour and 45 minutes rather than just an hour, because like the first 55 minutes was just me doing sort of like the tutorial prologue stuff before it was like, okay, here's the first area that you can actually just explore, start doing stuff in. We're still sort of doing a tutorial mission, but the tutorial is just sort of mess around in the open world a little bit, this open area, and get a feel for the game. And so I wanted to play a bit of that so that I could actually get a feel for the game. And if you're someone who wants to get in the game, it's got this tutorial prologue section that's kind of long, and you can't really skip it. There were definitely parts where it was like, hey, do you know how to do this, or do you know this concept? And I was like, yes, I've played a Pokemon game before, so let me skip some of the like explanation detail stuff. But like, some of the stuff, like, I don't know if I needed 2 different sections to teach me how to catch Pokemon, or how wild Pokemon function. Like, I think some of that tutorial stuff in the prologue could have been put together and shortened a bit. But that's just opinions, I guess. And my final negative is just sort of some of the design and UI stuff. Your map has its own button, your inventory has its own button, then there's like the Pokedex, which has its own button, and they're all in separate menus. And it's just sort of like, it's nice to have instant access to these different things, but if you'd have just also put them in one menu, then like if I clicked on one and I was like, oh, I meant to do the other one, I don't have to back out of the menu and then re-press the correct thing. They could all just be in the same place. And in addition to some stuff, like, you get a crafting kit so that you can craft out in the world and just make stuff, but rather than that being like an option in a menu, like it is in Elden Ring after you get the crafting kit. There's an option on your menu where it's like crafting kit. You have to go into your inventory, 2 keyed items, select the crafting kit, and then select that you want to use it to craft items. This doesn't need to have like 10 steps. It could be something accessible in like a step or 2. So there's just some like I mentioned, Game Freak has earned a reputation of being making some questionable choices in the last several years here, and this just feels like them fulfilling that reputation a little bit. Like the menus, like again, all of the menu accessible things are on the left Joy-Con. Use the minus button to get to the map. You use the Arc phone, your jailbroken phone that Arceus gave you. Use this button, it pulls up the map, and your quests are there. You use the up on the D-pad to go into your inventory. And also the save screen lives there, and your trainer card lives there, and the options and settings menus live there. And then you use down on the D-pad to access the Pokédex. These could be all accessible from the same place, even if they all are accessed easily from the controller. If I open the map, it wouldn't be that big of an issue to just be like, press this button to move over to your inventory. You know, I could just, but I have to back out from the map and then reopen the inventory. It's kind of silly UI and menu design.
This could really use some voice acting, even if it's not even just like full voice acting, just like something. Like even if it's just like certain words or noises, like huh, haha.
But despite some of those negative things I just mentioned, I'm having fun with it. I'm gonna play it some more. I have a physical copy, so I think I've mentioned before, when I buy physical copies, I feel compelled to actually play the game more, even if I have more of a mixed opinion on it. But like, I'm actually kind of having fun with it from what I played, so I'm gonna play more. So that's the thing. Pass this tryout. Pretty cool. If you're into Pokemon and you're looking for something new and a bit different, but still sort of the same basic concepts in a slightly different experience that just brings something new to the table that really has been lacking from at least what I can tell from more recent Pokemon games, I'd say this is something you want to pick up. At least from my, like, nearly 2 hours of playtime. So, we're gonna get into the end of it here. Like it, like the video, dislike the video, whichever. Description, links, subscribe, comment, share the video. Do the things. Click new videos, whatever. Do the things. And anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!